Let's go over what champions have worked for me this season in Victory Track and Gladiator Circuit thus far. And hi everybody, welcome to another video. I don't know when I'm posting this, but I'll post it sometime. So Battlegrounds reaching its end point for a lot of people. I think that by the time this video goes out, I've probably done like a couple more Battlegrounds fights and then I'm done. I've kind of reached my kind of like end point. There's a certain point where I just feel like it's a bit too grindy. I'm getting a bit bored of the same thing. And when I get a bit bored of the same thing, I don't really play as well because I'm bored and I want to move on to something else when it comes to MCOC, which is always good when there's a new meta to come out. Or as well, and there's also new content, side quests, incursions and other things like that I really enjoy. But, you know, I want to give it one big last push to kind of go over what has worked, what hasn't when it comes to Victory Track and Gladiator Circuit. We've got 24 hours left, so I don't know, this might help someone out, it might not. One thing I do try not to do is kind of play my hand and kind of showcase what I'm actually doing. Because if people watch the videos, it might be like, well, I know what Rich is going to field. So kind of playing my hand and showing you like what is my deck and what I plan to use is a bit stupid, really, if I'm being honest. But one thing I do try and do is show some of the champions I recommend. And many of those, if I can get this better into shot, the many champions that I have recommended have been at the start of the month. Every month I do these season, you know, attacking options, defense options. For the most part, my ideas have been all right. They've been good. Some champions have worked. Yes, not every champion that people go, this worked for me. You know, I'm not going to be able to put like, you know, thousands and thousands of different kind of like suggestions in. So I like to go off like, you know, in theory, what works, taking into consideration some community feedback and other stuff like that. So, of course, from attacking option, depending on what you used, the likes of Juggernaut has been a fantastic option in Victory Track. We're going to separate the video out, Victory Track and Gladiator Circuit. Of course, the regular Mystic options to take on the likes of Fury can be good. But also, because there was Rich Get Richer champions with buffs, held a good, strong footing to be helpful, like Juggernaut. We mentioned Juggernaut twice. That's because he's good. The same thing with Storm. Storm was doing fantastic amounts of damage. Sneaky Maestros occasionally were doing okay. And of course, everybody's got himself a Cosmic Ghost Rider. I try not to use Cosmic Ghost Rider at all. Mainly because it's all about an encouragement for me to play some like other champions I don't normally play. But I see a lot of these in people's decks. No disrespect, if you've got that, then use it. If it's your most powerful champion, use it. Mainly because, well, you want to win, don't you? You don't want to lose. Of course, Hulkling, Venom and Venompool have been doing bits the same way Gladiator has. There's been some great attacking options. But of course, you've got your general kind of like nukers doing their bit and much, much more. From a defensive point of view, there were many champions that were doing bits for everybody. Whether or not you were seeing things, Overseer was doing a great job for me, and of course the usual and new rise of the Red Skull, which is not the Red Skull, but Red Skull in general, because he was being used quite a lot in defense. Yes, there were some other sneaky options like Mangog, and Gallon, of course, was doing their bit with defense. But for me, it was a couple of champions that I ranked up, and they were doing just a great service to my roster. Those were these ones right here. Man-Thing, which I do... Actually, they're side by side. Look at them lads there, side by side. Killmonger and Man-Thing. Both champions I do plan to put up to 200 signature, and I do plan to kind of have them as front and center for defense. However, I may not. I'm not going to play my hand. I'm not going to tell you that I am or not going to have them in my battle deck. Mainly because the meta could change. That's something. You can be confident and overconfident in champions and then go, oh, hang on. Well, the meta shifted. Man-Thing and Killmonger work. They work very well within the Gladiator Circuit meta. And of course, they were working well, building up for me going into Victory Track. The same way a lot of people do field both those champions. They are frustrating champion options for people. It's just figuring out when to thoroughly invest in those particular champions to go, is it worth it now or is it worth it down the line? Over the course of this video, I should be playing some footage of like things that have gone well, just some reactions and stuff that's gone all right. Oh, and by the way, if anybody is kind of, if I do play off anybody in Battlegrounds, I mute people, by the way, so if you're spamming emotes at me, I'm sorry, I don't really have that, so I can see it. Anyway, but yeah, fair play to anybody that I faced off against in this last season, whether or not I've been on the winning side or the losing side, it is what it is with that. From a Gladiator circuit perspective, I decided to field a very much crit resistant and glancing type team. For some champions I do need to rank up further or have in the deck. Killmonger was definitely put in. I think it's his crit resistance that it's got within it, and of course Man-Thing's got some mechanics within that as well with it. Infamous Iron Man was definitely on the team, followed by Xerxes. I didn't rank up my dust in time. Maestro was already ranked up, and I had to be careful about investment. We're so close to the end of this season, I didn't want to put a load of materials into champions, and I'm like, oh, I could have waited for that. That would have been better elsewhere. Mr. Sinister, I should have ranked up, but I'm kind of holding off on that until the 7-star version. And there's some other champions I would like to rank up, but again, it's just down to investment versus where do I need other investment into my roster elsewhere. And what am I picking up from Titan Crystals? Because I could be picking up some good champions. I don't want to play my hand with that as well. Anyway, defensive options aside, and you know, the general defensive options, which as we know, there are a lot, and there's quite substantial, frustrating options in there, whether or not you're banning them or not. And the attacking side of things, interesting, right? Some things that have worked out relatively well from an attacking point of view. Kingpin, that was good. Storm was alright. Hulk was brilliant. It's just based on intercept. I would have liked to have used Black Widow Deadly Origin, but I should rank that up. Venom was good. I used him a couple of times and thought he was right. Shuri was a bit of an iffy one. It's an interesting one from a point of view of ramp up. If you can get your intercept off first and foremost and get that, crit. The second thing is then pushing to an SP1 and you get the precision passives. It is not brilliant. It's an option. And sometimes if you're presented with it's not brilliant and it's an option, it's stupid and it works, then it can be a very kind of... you can get a win. I think I got a win from that. Yeah, I just found it. Yeah, look, it's a bit of a sticky one there. It's a sticky and an iffy one. Of course, Killmonger, helps out there. But it was just the rotation. It was I rotated incorrectly with it. But it's like, wow, I didn't realize I just barely won that one. And they even KO'd the there, so I feel sorry for Phazon. It's I should have, in all fairness, I should have lost that, but I won that on having more kind of like more health. And it like fight duration. Honestly, I'm flabbergasted how I won that one. Bit unfair. Actually, what happened with the round one of that one? Well, there we go. Man-Thing strikes again with the performance. As I said, those two have been put in work this season, and of course we've got Photon. They're doing a bit with taking on Sasquatch, which again a frustrating champ. One thing that I did set out this season to do is create a little kind of like thing here. I try to once every season like map out my plans, like who's doing what. So like on Victory Track, I fielded my deck of Wiccan, America Chavez, Human Torch, Doctor Doom, Hulk, Gallon Thing, Gladiator, Mecha Sentinel, Overseer Man Thing, blah 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 blah, all the way down to that. So that's the team right here. Like you can see that. And I try and get myself a bit of structure, because then honestly, like I'm getting to that age where I'm having to like there's ideas that I want to make next year, video wise and spreadsheet wise, that will help me also help new players and existing players that maybe are coming to that point where there's so many champions to remember how they interact. And when you're doing stuff like Battlegrounds, you need quick fire ideas of options or kind of rotation methods, or from your team who can take on what. And that's something I want to look into, just to kind of like help out as much as possible. But the Victory Track deck, you can see there, it was, yeah, just giving me instructions of like, well, who I could potentially use in like either attack or defense. That doesn't mean like, okay, well, something, I've not got here like, okay, I don't know, random champion pops up, use this one. It's not like that. It's just that giving me an instruction that I can use this for this. Why are they in my roster? Why are they in my deck to cover attack and defense in a matter so choosing? And the same thing went for Victory Track. You got some. I've put some notes there on the right hand side where I've been fielding champions in attack and defense. Like Maestro's been put in defense and has worked. Doctor Doom. I can't remember if Doctor Doom worked. I don't think he did. Xerxes worked once but didn't work the next time because people had a better counter to it. But of course, from a Gladiator circuit deck point of view, there's some champions that I put in here and I'm like, it's too late for me to now go and shift that out, because I tell you what, I would have well, I might even take it out now. Angela didn't work the way I thought she was going to do. And it's trial and error, isn't it? At the end of the day, you find out what works and what doesn't work, and you retool your deck as much as possible to kind of make it work. Apart from that, I haven't used Beta Ray Bill once this season as a 6-star, which I had, and then yeah, I got the 7-star. Is what it is. America Chavez did some good damage. Yeah, that was fun. And Gamora, I haven't used Gamora once. Gamora was like in there for whatever reason. I was like, I thought I had an idea. And sometimes when you think you have an idea and you're like, this must work, that must work. No, that didn't work. Yeah, but I'm kind of glad that it's the end of the season. I can focus in on some other stuff. But that's been my battle deck, and that's been who I've been using. That's who's worked. What's worked for you this season? Put it in the comments. I appreciate you very much, and massive respect to everybody that's pushed to get that 5,000 points, and of course got the Titan Crystal. So yeah, thanks for watching. Check out some other content, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye for now.